Hello, I'm Rain Grady and welcome again to Phuket Plus. It's great to be with you. Well, development and environment, a special report on do the two actually go together.
Leading environmentalist and keynote speaker John Gray, a pioneer of sea kayaking tours, has been involved in Phuket's ecotourism industry now for 2 decades. The rapid changes to the region with a boom in tourism-related development concerns the activist, who has worked in sustainable growth practices worldwide. How did you first come to be here and get involved in environmental practices?
Well, I did not come here on vacation and stay. I spent 4 years planning the trip and looking at topo maps and deciding on coming here. Back in those days, it was absolutely environmental paradise.
What year did you first arrive?
I came in January 1989, and it was very, very nice. The population of Phuket back then was a legitimate 200,000. Now it's close to 1 million. But it was still a pretty nice place. We had some standard mainstream hotels, but not wall to wall, and it was a good place to be.
So this view below us is Phuket town, where we're sitting atop Rong Hill. What was this view like when you first came?
Well, there was none of the red roofs were there right off the bat. The density was much lower than it is today. There were no mud cuts, I call them, on the hills, and it was okay. It was a sleepy little town, much like a Thai town anywhere else in Thailand, except it was right on the ocean where we have all these great water sports.
So with so much development happening on the island, do you see any greenness happening in the property industry, considering we have such a big global issue at the moment about climate change, etc.?
Well, we're losing a lot, and I would like to see some tree planting here, like is done in Puerto Princesa in the Philippines. It would also be nice to have some master planning. And I think if you talk to most developers, they appreciate master planning because then they know where's the best place to build and where they shouldn't be building, and also it keeps property values high. So everybody wins when you've got good master planning instead of just chop suey.
Your favorite eco success story is Puerto Princesa in the Philippines. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, Puerto Princesa is a town where the people actually regain control of their own environment. They have very rigid environmental standards. They want business to come in there. They want development, but they want it done in a proper way. They've got a sanitary landfill. It's very difficult to do that in Asia, but that sanitary landfill is so pure that it's going to become a golf course. So that's turning a negative into a positive. So there's no rubbish in the town. The forests are pure. You don't see any of these red earth cuts in the forests. The seas are absolutely perfect. There's no illegal fishing. And the town is planned properly. And what they've really done is they've created environmental ethic that permeates the entire community.
What lessons can we learn from such a small place in the Philippines?
Yes, it's just a little microcosm, but what I like about it is it's in the Philippines, which is noted for its lack of environmental policy and controls. Yet in the middle of all of that, there's one little place that can actually do it right. And I think it would stand as a great example for all of Southeast Asia because they have been able to balance prosperity. There's no homeless people in Puerto Princesa. Everybody's got work. Everybody's happy. Instead of going out and getting in fights and using drugs and everything, they go to the restaurant and they talk about environmentalism and nature planning and things like this. So it's crime-free as a result. Absolutely beautiful spot in the middle of what is not the greatest country in Southeast Asia. Phuket can do a lot of things in terms of master planning that will actually improve property values. And from my experience in Hawaii, developers actually appreciate master planning because they know where they can go, they know where they They're not going to have a fight on their hands with the local people. People have been in there before and planned this place. The values are better. It's a more attractive place for expats from Hong Kong and Singapore to bring their families and relax, maybe retire here, and know that in 30 or 40 years, they're still going to have a nice place to live.
John, you have an association with the Thailand Environmental Institute who are developing a master plan for the Andaman Triangle. Can you explain what the future plans are going to be?
Well, they're looking at master planning what we call the Andaman Triangle, which is Phuket, Phang Nga, Krabi. And it really needs it. Phuket's got a pretty decent handle on environmental planning now, I think, as a Southeast Asian city. What I'm really worried about is Phang Nga and Krabi. You go over to Krabi now, you go to Ao Nong, it's very dense. I was actually shocked when I went there last year. Very dense. What we really have to do is plan these places well so that we have something that's going to still be here in 100 years. The market leads the way. Developers are going to build what the market wants. If they want to survive, they have to. That's just a basic fact of life. What we really need are innovative people coming here saying, I'd really like to live the rest of my life in Phuket, and I wanted to do it in a tasteful way. And maybe they could start planning the ideas, you know, I don't want this big concrete heat sink, let's try some bamboo structures, or go out to the two Eversons, one's on Koh Yao and one's on Naka Island. They're very well done. I'd like to see other hotels follow their example. And they're actually almost a self-contained system. Would be a great way for us to go. I'd also like to say that as long as we keep having kids, we got to keep building houses. That's just a basic fact of life. And in my lifetime, I've seen the world's population triple.
With the push towards high-spending quality tourists, can Phuket's environment really sustain the mega rich with their super big toys?
The mega rich. One thing I learned in Hawaii when we were involved with hotel development in Hawaii is the mega rich have just as bad a taste as everybody. They've just got the money to manifest their bad taste. So just because somebody is rich does not mean that they're responsible. And I do have to say that some of these mega toys just aren't going to be around in another 100 years. The planet just cannot support them. And I'd like to think that in 100 years from now, people are going to look at folks that are amassing more wealth than they can ever spend as maybe not somebody to look up to. You know, that goes back to Thorstein Veblen, who was an American economist back at the turn of the century, who studied the old robber barons in America. And he said, why do people respect these people? And we went back to tribal mentality. They were the guys with the biggest clubs that became the chiefs, and it's still that tribal attitude. And just because somebody has a lot of money does not mean that they're a nice person. Probably not. So we really have to assimilate these people into normal society, could we say, and say, hey, you know, if you want me to talk to you at a cocktail party, I want to see what you're doing for the planet, not against it.
You're watching PHUKET Plus.